been doing this for a while too, so we can kind of figure it out.
Just a little bit, like, or because you can see my reactions and shit.
Yeah, because I can like see what you're gonna say. I don't interrupt you as much. I feel like when
Okay.
I see you.
Okay.
Maybe that's a wrong assessment too.
I
I
don't
don't
know. I
know.
think you kind of know
Yeah,
where to. You kind of know when I've got to a stopping point, sort of.
for sure. For shizzle.
Yes.
Ryan. Ryan. Ryan's
Becca.
birthday is tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Ryan's birthday is tomorrow. Are you doing anything fun? Tell us how
Uh,
your week's been.
so Rachel is working tomorrow, and we're just going to Camparoso for dinner, which is a like a brick oven pizza place
Oh,
in
nice.
Fort Mitchell. I don't think you've been there before, have you?
I don't think so. We
Camparoso,
always go to just we, we kind of just
like
always go
local
to all
places, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit fancier of a pizza place, I guess, but we usually get like specialty pizzas there. I always like to get the, was it chicken pesto? It's
Yummy.
really good. It's like chicken pesto with a little bit of mozzarella, I think, and yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
So I'll probably get that. Um, yeah, other than that, I'm this week's been kind of just getting prepped for my show this weekend. I'm doing the farmers market in
Oh, you
Covington.
are.
Yeah, so that's on Saturday.
Fun.
I actually, I'm trying to think. I think I did it once last year. It's kind of like a
Okay.
filler show for me
Yeah.
because it's like a guest vending spot, so you just kind of commit to like once a month, but you just sort of tell them ahead of time what dates are good for you.
Yeah.
They used to have certain periods of a month that they would say, okay, the third weekend of every month we have guest vendors, and you can come do that week. But I mean, with show season, it's very hit or miss, like which weekends are full, and I got to have off weekends so I'm not killing myself, and because those
Yeah.
start earlier too. Those are 9 a.m. starts or 9 to 1. I mean, it's a easier booth setup because it's just a farmer's market, so it's really just one table and my mug rack. But it's
Yeah.
my first show of the season, so we'll see how that goes. It's supposed to rain. Hopefully, it does not.
Of course it is.
I don't know. I don't get too worried about that nowadays. I'm just like, okay, I'll pack the car appropriately and bring the right weather, you know, attire so
Things.
that I'm not
Yeah.
getting drenched on, and bring my side walls if I need them or whatever because there's nothing I can
Yeah.
do. But um yeah, so we'll see how that goes. It's nice to like ease back into it with an easy show that's not a full booth setup and something if I forget something, it's not really that big of a deal.
Right.
So uh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't expect huge sales, but it'll be good to get back in the groove of setting the booth up and all that good stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what this week's mostly been. Just kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of at a interesting spot in like making because I don't have, like, I'm pretty restocked on stuff, right? There are
Yeah.
some larger pieces that I haven't really made. So last or over the weekend, I think I threw two big pitchers and a couple vases that I'm gonna put slip on and then sgraffito. So I'm kind of, trying to get myself like, okay, I don't need to make more mugs or I don't need to make more spoon rests. I need to make some bigger things that I have neglected. And
Have you considered mixing bowls, like some really nice curvy mixing bowls?
I have not, with a
Because
little lip on them.
I have zero problem selling those. Like quite
Okay.
literally no problems.
Okay. I've never made nesting bowls, so I mean that's not a bad idea.
That's a good like
I
little
Yeah, that's a
project.
nice little challenge too, because I don't normally make things that fit in a set together. I kind of make them a little bit askew from each other so that they're not so like these need to work as a series.
Yeah. If you want, I can give you I have my nesting bowl measurements and weights. If
What's
you
your
want,
weights
I can
offhand? Do you know? Is it like a 2, 4, 6 thing or?
I want to say it's a 1.5, 3, and 6. or 5.
1.5, 3. Yeah, I feel like 6 would be fucking massive.
It is a big, big, big bowl. The big one is big.
Yeah, normally my
Um,
serving bowl size is 4 pounds of clay, and I think that's about maybe about
but you
six
could
inches
even
tall
do,
by 8 inches wide, maybe, or something like that.
yeah, you could even do two, you know, like a set of two. And
Like a
I feel
pair,
like
yeah.
if you put a spout on a bowl, it sold itself.
Really?
I really do. I
So
don't
when
know
you,
why.
I've never put a spout on a bowl. I do the spouts on the pitchers, but do you kind of pinch it and pull it up to a point, or are you just folding it over and keeping it semi-rounded, or do you
Okay,
like
so what
how do
I
you
do,
make it good?
I'm gonna try to explain this with words, but we'll see how it goes. What I do is I take about an inch and a half of the rim and I get my fingers wet and I fold down. I know don't fold down the rim, but I pinch it and I move my fingers back and forth that inch and a half, and so it flattens it out a little
Okay,
bit,
with your
and
thumb underneath and then your index and your middle finger on top, kind of.
my thumb and my forefinger, that's what I just pinch it and rub it back and forth essentially. So it,
Okay.
it raises it up a little bit, but it thins out that rim a little bit just
Uh-huh.
in that spot. And then I take my fingers on the other side, like you would just making a spout. And then I just move my finger in a spout, like
Yeah, so you're
down.
kind of going from inside out with a wet finger to kind
Right.
of give
So,
it a sharp edge.
right. And when you pinch it on the top and make that like flat, it's not really flat, but it's like, because I like to make a really big beefy rim so it doesn't get bunged up or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
like when you go and flatten that out and like thin it out a little bit, it kind of like moves it up and that gives you enough room and it's like a nice looking spout, I feel like.
Okay, because the
Yeah.
rims of yours are typically about what, like half an inch or so. Like it's a pretty durable rim.
Yeah, I would say like 3/8 of an inch.
Okay.
I like to leave a nice, like,
Okay.
it's not a rolled rim, but I like that look just because it feels a little bit heftier, you know?
Ooh, yeah. I saw some uh I saw some mixing bowls that Alyssa from AWK Clayworks, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and she just got some out of the kiln. They looked really good. It was reminding me of yours, and I'm like, ooh, those are nice. But I've never made a set like that.
Yeah, maybe you should push yourself. I'll try to take a picture of the measurements tomorrow and send them to
Okay.
you.
So when you make
Um,
them, are you doing them sequentially, like building, like making them a little bit bigger, one set at a time, or are you making like a bunch of 1.5s and then a bunch of 3 pounds and then you like that?
I don't typically make a lot of them. Um, so I'll
Well, not
probably
a
make,
bunch, but you do like 4 1.5s and then four of the next size
yeah,
up, and then
because then I like to use my laser level, so I set it to the right height and width. Um, uh,
okay,
just because it's like,
yeah, for
I
consistency.
yeah, and like I like mine to be really tight and perfect, but I don't think that's necessary. And so I'll do the small ones first, the bigger ones, the middle ones second, and then the large ones third.
Yeah.
Because I like to start with the small because that gets me into the kind of into the mood of making bowls,
Hmm.
and then I kind of like work my way up to the large one. So
Yeah.
I'm not like a fish out of water when I do the big one. So
Yeah, I think the measuring is, I try to stick away from measuring. Yeah, I just go by feel normally,
for
but
sure. And I think that with your style, you could get away with like a little bit more haptic, like, haphazard kind of
uh
measuring. I don't think you really have to be perfect. Like you can make 3 sets and then
they could probably
and
just pair at bisque
ex-
stage and I can
yeah,
figure it out.
exactly. Like find the ones that work together. And but I will say that you do need to trim them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll
So,
definitely trim them. The
yeah.
worry that the serving bowls that I make typically have an inner foot. That's typically the only
Yeah.
form I have with an inner foot besides a berry bowl. So, these mixing bowls, I would suspect, don't really have much of an inner foot, or you don't want too much of an inner foot. You just kind of
Yeah.
want it pretty flat because it's extra weight and stuff like that.
I like to make them rounded on the bottom. But
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun little
Maybe I need to
like
give that a go.
yeah, fun little push. Like do like two at first and see how you do. And then um I'll like seriously if you set a mixing bowl setup in a stack
Actually,
and
that
if
yeah,
oh, people go
that's
fucking nuts.
that's a good. I mean, that's a good point about shows and stuff because I typically don't put serving bowls out because they take up space and people don't really buy them. But if it's a mixing bowl set, that cost and that space that it takes up is going to be worth it
Yeah, I took like
because they stack.
7 or 8 mixing bowls to that first show that I did in Indiana, and I think I sold almost all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
it's
So
crazy.
I'm
Like, especially if you're doing it at like a farmer's market, that's when I feel like it's the best.
really.
Because,
It just seems like a high price for a farmer's market. But I mean, that's the
no,
right crowd for it because
yes, but
they're
no,
in their
yeah,
kitchen and
because
shit.
exactly. They're like, oh, I'm local. I can get these locally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you have them, then you can also do orders for them. That's the only thing that I'll do orders for typically is a
Hmm.
mixing bowl because I know that people like it to match their kitchen, and
Okay.
um, but like the sizes and everything are always the same. But
Yeah.
yeah, at Lawrence, I got like 4 orders for mixing bowl sets at the farmers market.
Yep.
So
Okay, so let's talk pricing. What's the price on a set of
so
yours?
I feel like mine are maybe a little low. Maybe. I mean, some people will probably be like, that's too low. But I price a set at 150. So my big one is 65, mid one is 55, and then lower one is 45, like smaller bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And if they buy them together, it's 150.
Okay. Do you have people that just buy a couple or just a
Yeah, like some people just buy like one or two. Um,
okay. Hmm. I mean, it is a one-time purchase and it's something that you're going to get a lot of use out of if you're in your kitchen cooking a lot. So,
yeah.
I mean, 150 sounds cheap for three good-sized bowls, but uh I mean, I don't know. I would probably do something like that too just because it would be my first time making them, so
Yeah, I think that I just find a lot of joy in making them, so it's a lot easier to sell them for 150 for me. you
uh-huh.
know like I absolutely love making them, and I love when you get them out of the kiln, they're like perfect
Yeah.
you
I
know
think my I think my 4 pound bowl serving bowl is typically 65 or 70.
okay, so
So
yeah, like
that's kind of
price
the
accordingly.
on the bigger size of the one and a half, three, five.
I think i think you could probably sell a set for 200 and get away with it in like a hometown market. You could definitely get away with that at like a big show, obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay. So maybe that'll be on my agenda this weekend to make. Just to give it a go. I got to make some more planters and stuff for this
Yeah.
I told you about the wedding, right? That I'm making planters for them for a wedding.
Yes.
Did we talk about it on
And you're
here?
renting you're renting the planters, right?
Yeah, I'm renting them
No,
for
you didn't.
about
You told me alone,
okay. But yeah,
like we were at your house.
I got to make
Yeah.
some more of those, but yeah, I want to say I'm charging them 60% of retail to rent them,
Okay. Nice.
and then I'm gonna have like an itemized list of what I gave them, and then they can buy them full retail price if they want. And yeah, so I'm making a batch of them. I think it's gonna be like I want to say I quoted them a little over $500 or something for the batch, but it was low, I think.
Nice.
So it'll be a good piece. I don't remember exactly what the cost was, but so the hopes are
Awesome.
they're going to be sellable afterwards. But news I found out this week is that one of my consignment shops is closing. Actually,
Which one?
Thimble Gardens, the one that had my planters and stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah, so they moved from Lebanon. I think you and Rachel went to Lebanon one day, right?
Yeah, that's where we had that really amazing sandwich.
Yeah. so they moved from there to Hamilton, which is more of like a it was like a big shopping center, like a TJ Maxx, Dick's Sporting Goods. They had some
Oh
small businesses in there, but it
no.
was like a huge complex of big business shops, like hustle bustle. Like you could imagine the parking lot situation and the cars
Yeah.
going crazy. I mean, they got more space and stuff, but more space means more staff, means more products, means
Yeah.
more rent. Like,
Oh man. So they're not closing because they want to.
no, they're closing the store. I think they're gonna keep the online, but the store front
That's a
is closing.
bummer.
So I gotta go. I'm gonna go get my stuff on Saturday after my show and pick up the planters and everything that I still had there. So
That's a
I
super
don't
bummer.
really sell planters at shows or anything. So I'm curious where that leaves me with planters going
Yeah.
forward because I mean I don't mind making them. I just haven't found the right uh I haven't found the right avenue to sell them that I enjoy selling them. Maybe it's an
Yeah.
online thing, but it's a lot of one-off pieces. I don't want
Right.
to make like sets of them to put on Etsy to like restock like my spoon rests and stuff. I don't like making them that much that I want to do that. So
Yeah.
maybe it'll be a planter sale or something like that, and
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I got to pick that stuff up on Saturday. So that was a lot about me this week. What's going on with you this week? You're in Indy. You were also at Josh's. You got some new stuff going on with your van,
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. Sorry.
and you
We're
got a
good.
special delivery this week too.
I got a special delivery?
You did.
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry. There's a car in the parking lot,
Are the
and
cats not in the car?
no, the cats are here. I just typically there's not cars in this parking lot. Okay, so I went to Josh's, JH Pottery Works. He's my buddy. He's like my bro, and saw his new house, and it's a beautiful. I mean, they didn't get a new
Newly
house.
renovated
They
house.
renovated their old house, and it's like insanely different. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And we cut a hole in my van for the for the fan, and I did it. It was so
What
much
do you
fun.
cut that
I
with?
love a jigsaw, and thankfully, like, the reason I went up to Josh's house was because one, he's a dad supervisor, and two, he has all the tools that I need, you
Right.
know. So like I didn't have to like find the tools, you know. So he was like my little gopher. I was like, "Do you have this?" And he'd like I'd be like on top of the van and he'd be like handing me things. Um, and so yeah, I'm looking at it right now because I'm looking at my ceiling, and it's not like hooked up as far as like the wires are concerned. But it is there and at least lets a little bit of air in right now. And I'm actually headed to Memphis tomorrow to go down to visit Brandon and Teresa. And Brandon's going to help me put up solar panels on the roof and
Wow.
do
Did you
a
already get the
roof
solar
rack.
panels?
Huh?
You already got the solar panels?
I got them and I shipped them to his house.
Oh, good idea. Good plan.
Yeah, so 2 days ago was Earth Day and they had a sale on the solar panels, so I jumped on it and got those
I think
a
Saturday is
percentage.
Earth Day.
Whatever, there was an Earth Day sale.
Earth Day week sale.
An Earth Day week sale. And I got those and I shipped them to Brandon's house and hopefully they'll get there in time and we're going to make like a makeshift roof rack and I'm really excited to have like consistent power, you know.
Yeah. So
Um
how is does the fan like sort of open and close a bit so that it's sealed somehow so that while you're driving it's not like exposed to the elements and stuff like that?
yeah, so it has a twister thing. Like I could have gotten one of the remote control one, but I just got the manual one and it just like manually twists down and then it locks so that when you're driving, but also, it's like angled in a way that if you're driving, the wind will go over it too. So it's pretty aerodynamic.
Oh, okay. I was wondering
Um,
how it ventilates, but it also doesn't let
yeah.
water in if you had like a torrential downpour. but
Right. I
I was
don't
like,
know exactly. I'm
I
sure
don't
there's
know.
some water that can get in, but it has like a rain guard and
Okay.
stuff.
Plus,
So,
it's right above your
yeah,
electronics and shit. So,
you're correct. That
would
was probably not the best plan, but
would
that's what I
hate
did.
for that to get into or on top of you while your laptop is right there or something. Like I just foresee that happening.
Yeah, no, it's like these are ones that are proven to not have any
Okay.
like water and stuff. So they do it somehow. I don't know.
I would still
I,
be cautious.
well, I don't leave my laptop here. And
Okay, that's
the
good.
I should put the battery up actually, like on little stilts, but yeah. So anyway, that happened, and that's going to happen. So I'm really excited about that. And then I got a delivery from Speedball Underglazes,
Mm-hmm.
and that was exciting. I haven't used them yet. Uh, I'm kind of in a pickle because I really do need them to be thinner, and I put Darvan in them, but because of the bottles that they use, I couldn't like shake them up and get them thinner. So
You have other bottles to put them in, or
yeah, I've
bigger
got to put
bottle?
them in little containers and do the whole Darvan thing. But
Yeah.
I did. I messaged them today and I was like, "Hi, so I just got my bottles, and Kelly said to let you know if I thought of anything that you guys could help you, and I think you should change your bottles."
Why'd you say that?
Because they have the little 2 ounce bottles, and I'm not talking about the pints; those are great. Um, the 2 ounce bottles, which I imagine a lot of people are going to be buying, um, they okay. For one, if they know that the glazes are going to be thick, then it doesn't make sense for them to be in a squeezy bottle because you literally can't squeeze them out. And
Mm-hmm.
trying to put the Darvan in to like shake them up doesn't work. And so
Because
then
there's not enough free
also,
space.
yeah, there's not enough free space to like kind of shake it up. And also, most people when they're doing underglazes aren't like squeezing something out onto a palette and then painting. They want to just like put the brush into the container so that they're not wasting the
I
underglaze.
wouldn't say that.
Really?
I think most people put them out into something.
I
I do
don't think
that. I
so.
mean, you don't need it. All you need is a cup, like a little bitty container
Yeah,
to put them onto. Like,
yeah, but like the 2 ounce ones, like
I
I've
don't know what
never
people use the
once.
2 ounce ones for. I mean, Brooke might use the 2 ounce ones because she
Yeah,
doesn't
she
use
does.
that much, but she puts them out onto a palette because she's mixing them
Yeah,
and
but
stuff.
she's like doing like intense painting. Like she's like insane painting. I would say most people just use it straight out of the bottle. Like when they're using Amico or Mako, I use them straight out of the bottle.
We're also covering
Uh,
big surfaces too.
right, but a lot of people
How
cover
does
big
Sarah use it?
surfaces straight out of the bottle.
Straight out of the bottle. Okay, and she's
Hmm.
using pints though. She's not using 2 ounce ones to.
Right, right. But like even still, like I don't want to waste any of the underglaze that's like so precious to me. I
Mhm.
want to just like
Yeah, I mean,
be
I guess
able.
if you had a small enough brush, you just unscrew the lid and then you dip it through the
Right.
hole, and that's okay. But
Yeah. So
you
I
can't
I
water
just
it
was
down,
like,
so.
you know, just so you know, the bottle's not the best. and but I'm like really excited to try them. I just have to like transfer them to another container, and I would have to transfer them to another container regardless.
Uh huh.
I have to transfer the Makos to another container as well because I can't dip the earrings in those
Yeah.
containers.
I mean, I'm
But
curious about how people use them. Like, if you were to show two, like the 2 ounce ones, because Amicos are wide mouth, so you could put a brush in it,
yeah,
but you can't really pour it clean. I mean, you can pour it, I guess, but it's not as clean as out of a squeeze bottle. So it's like,
true. But
how
you
do
can't even squeeze. You can't squeeze the
it depends on the
speedball
color
ones
you
out of
use.
I suppose. But all the
Because
ones
that
I
yellow, you could
encountered
probably
were
squeeze the
quite
yellow
thick.
out, right?
I don't remember.
When I gave,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on the color. I don't know.
Anyway, that was my critique of the day for them. But they were like, "Oh, that's some good points," and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
But I'm
Did
excited to
you,
like try them out.
okay, yeah, you still haven't tried them yet. So
Yeah.
you showed that. story with the two of them. It was Speedball Yellow, but I couldn't tell what the other one was. What is that?
That's Mako.
The one on the left was Mako Yellow?
No, the green one was Mako.
But which color? It's a green Mako.
I mean, it was mixed. It was a mixed color.
Oh, okay. I was like that. I was confused at what you were. I was
I
thinking you were
just
saying both of them were yellows or something. I
no.
was like, that one's not
One
yellow at
was
all.
Speedball and one was I don't even remember.
A
I didn't
Mako, different color.
even look at it, honest.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. What else is going on this week? Have you been making and stuff and restocking, or you been mostly doing the fancy cups and things like that?
Um. Oh, I've been doing the fancy cups. I had to like stop. I didn't really make any fancy cups this week. I had to kind of stop because I needed to sand down a bunch because I'm headed to Memphis and I got to get a bunch of cups done in Memphis actually because we have an open house on the 29th and I'd like to have stuff then, and then my birthday's on the 1st and I'd like to have stuff for that, and then on the 5th it's the clay crawl and I'd like to have stuff for that. So
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
So where are you at on the number of pots you were getting made?
mm,
And you were saying
I think
500 was your goal, right?
mm-hmm.
Or more than that? I think it was like
No,
200 and then
500's my goal.
300.
Yeah, it was like 200 small ones and 300 big ones, I think. I don't know if I'm going to stick to 300 big ones.
Big ones as in big. That's your fancy cup numbers, or these are
Yeah.
just total pot, like other, like the new forms that you're talking about included, or
It's basically like the $50 ones versus the $100 ones.
okay,
So I wanted to have 200 of the $50 ones and then 300 of the big ones. And I'm wondering if I should maybe do some more of the $50 ones and a few less of the bigger ones.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it just
but I
makes sense
think
that
I'm
you would
at
have more of the smaller ones for uh sellability. It seems like the $49 price point is more attractive to most people compared
to
to the
some people,
$100.
but I think people like the bigger ones because they have more stuff on them, you know? Um, I know for sure. I don't know where my count's at because some of them are in the kiln right now and some of them are sanded, but I know for sure on the shelf I have like probably like 150
Total?
on the shelf that's just like bisque that
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been touched. So,
Yeah. What about the new forms? You've been making some of those too.
yeah, that includes the new forms, yeah.
Oh, because you're taking the new forms and you're putting the fanciness on top of them. Okay, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
just a different shape.
It's different, yeah, just a different shape, not a
Oh,
different like design.
I got you. Okay,
Yeah.
and you were making two sizes of those new forms.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I was thinking they were all the like rounded ones that you've been making. Is that count?
N-
But that's like everything.
yeah, that's like everything. I'm like, yeah, I'm not like trying to super, you know,
Yeah.
I
Plus, it
don't
just
need to
gives
go
people
super
options.
fast, but it's nice to get a bunch done so that I can start kind of like working on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do have a funny story.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, it's kind of funny. I don't know if it actually is funny. I have a story. Yesterday, yesterday we actually uh we installed the elements, the thermocouples, and the relay to Sarah's old kiln. That's the L&L.
The LNL, yeah.
Yeah, and it was super easy. The elements like installation was a piece of cake. And even on like an old kiln that was like it's 25 years old, it was quite easy. Now, we still have something that's wrong with it, but we'll figure it out. You know, it's just a matter of maybe something got loose. We don't know. It's an
Yeah,
old kiln. Anything
just
can happen. But
eliminating the variables.
right. But we went to lunch afterwards to this Mexican place called La Parisio, and I was like, I want a margarita, and then she was like, what size do you want? And I was like, I don't know, grande, which is the biggest size,
Oh
and
gosh, this is the size of your
um,
head.
it was so fucking big. Keep in mind, I had not eaten anything until the margarita,
Oh
and then I
god.
ate some like chips. I was like drunk.
You should have
I
been
was
pounding
drunk.
those chips.
I hadn't even finished half of the margarita, and I was fucking plastered at lunch.
It was basically
And
you basically had like almost a pitcher of margarita by yourself, probably.
it was so much. It was so much, and it was very strong.
Jeez,
Like
you should have shared it with somebody.
I tried, and like you can't just leave it. You can't just like I've committed,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
and you
Like
can't take it to
I've
go
paid for
either.
this,
So
right? I've like paid for this thing, and so and then I ate my tacos and I was like so full. And I think what happened was like it was like a lasagna, a margarita taco. It was like chips, margarita, taco, lasagna in my stomach.
oh god,
And it was
very heavy.
horrible. It was horrible. And I was so full. And after a while it kind of like settled down and stuff and we like came back and I fell asleep for 2 hours.
Jeez.
And then this morning, I shit you not, I was hungover from
Oh
that
my
goddamn
god.
margarita.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot. You don't just
It was,
ask for a grande sight
well, I didn't
unseen.
know what a grande was. I had no idea what
That's
I
why
was
you
getting
ask
myself
them.
into. Because
That's
I
what you.
knew I didn't want a small, because the small ones, I mean, I drink a small one in 2 seconds. Like,
There's got to be a. It's like a venti, tall grande.
I will say, had I had any food that day, like if I had had lunch first and then the margarita, it would have been fine.
I just picture
But
this thing. It's got to be at least 32 ounces. Like it's probably more like 40 ounces. I don't know, more than that.
No, I think 32 probably. It was like a fucking fishbowl. It was huge, but it was a majority ice, you know?
It's on the
And like
rocks. Okay.
yeah, like the sugar combined with the alcohol is really what gets me. Like that's just fucking knocks me on my ass.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so this morning I felt like total shit. And I had a headache and I had to like take
Yeah. I
some
mean, I could
Advil.
see that.
Oh, it was horrible. It was
Pretty
horrible.
ballsy. Grande margarita at lunch on an empty stomach,
I know.
and you
I didn't
still
even know.
at lunch. Like, she's like, really?
They didn't
Grande?
have they didn't have examples of what a grande was.
You gotta ask him.
I know. Next time. Now I know. Now I know. Don't do that.
Jeez. Yeah.
Like I am not an alcoholic. Let's be clear on this. Like I know that
I mean,
everybody thinks I
when that came to the table, I would immediately be like, okay, this is shareable. Bring us an extra glass. They could drink 12 ounces of it, and you'd still be shit faced.
I yeah, like I think that people think that I drink a lot more than I do, and I don't drink that much, but also I am not skinny. I'm not small, so like I can take a lot of alcohol. But like that was a lot. That was just way too much.
But even like 20 ounces, I mean, 20 ounces of a, that's like a triple. That's a lot.
Who
Jeez.
even knows?
Whew.
It was so sweet too. It was like super fucking sweet.
Oh, makes me want to
Uh
go to Ola and get some tacos and frozen margarita.
and Mark,
I'm a frozen more than a on the rocks, but
I'm 100% on the rocks instead of frozen.
yeah.
I don't enjoy it if it's frozen, and I don't know why. Maybe I just get brain freezes, and I think it's because I drink so fast.
Yeah, I'm just getting to the margarita enjoyment. So I'm not
Yeah,
normally a tequila fan, but it's just like
it's
I'm
new for
drinking.
you.
I like it frozen because it's like a slushy kind of.
Yeah, for
I don't know.
sure.
I mean, it's not that far off from like a tiki drink because of the citrus and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's just
Absolutely not.
the
Yeah.
alcohol is different, but it's I'm like getting more accustomed to it.
It's definitely your kind of drink as opposed to like, I mean, you're not a beer guy. You're a sweets guy, so.
Yeah. I don't know why it's more socially acceptable for a guy to get a margarita, a frozen margarita or whatever, over a strawberry daiquiri. It's the same fucking thing. It's just strawberry. Well, I mean,
Right.
it's like, what? Whatever.
Whatever.
Who
Fuck those
cares?
guys.
Yeah, who cares? It all tastes good. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If you like sweet, you like sweet. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And you're a candy guy, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna just drink this beer for the sake of the masculine expectation. Like, fuck that. I'm past that.
Oh, also, another story, and then we will go into our thing. Also, while we were switching out all the elements for the kiln, we kept on hearing this meowing, and I had gotten there at like 10. Well, I slept there, but like I got out of the van at like 10, and I kept hearing, and I was like, that's weird. There's like a really annoying cat in the neighbors. And we kind of like went on with our business, and we're like, what is going on with this fucking cat? It was meowing for like 2 hours. And
My gosh.
then the neighbors came out with the little kids, and they were like, look, it's up in the tree.
But
There's a
you could
fucking
hear it.
cat.
Oh.
It was like 30 feet up in the tree.
Oh
And
gosh.
it was like a straight up tree, and he was like not fucking coming down. And so Sarah and I talked to Val, and she's like, he's just gonna have to come down when he's hungry. And Sarah like tried to call the fire department. They won't do it. And then called a tree service guy. And he was like, yeah, I'll come on my way home. And he lived like really close. And so he pulls up in his truck, and he's like gonna just free climb this tree to
Oh
get
my
this
god.
cat. And he like throws this rope up in the tree, like over the cat. And the cat freaks out and then just pees all over the tree. Just
Oh.
like, just free flow of pee onto the ground. And
Okay.
then the rope kept moving, and it freaked the cat out, and the cat just like jumped down and like climbed down halfway, and then I threw a stick at it and it climbed the rest of the way down.
Wow.
I know.
I'm surprised this guy just did it on his way home. Like, hey, I'll help you out. Whatever.
Well, he was like, it probably cost a little bit of money, and then Sarah was like, it's not our cat. We have no idea whose cat this is. We're just trying
We
to
were
be
just
nice.
doing it because the meowing was annoying the hell out of us.
Yeah. And then Sarah ended up giving him like a $20 bill, a Stein, and a cheap beer.
That's funny.
His name was John, and we sat in the backyard and shot the shit for like 30 minutes, and then he went home.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. We can continue with our
Whew.
regularly scheduled program.
All right. We got some listener questions. That's going to ease us into our topic today as well.
What's our topic?
The last question's our topic.
Oh, okay.
um, the first question is, when setting up a booth, is an outside L or inside L better for bringing people in? Does it matter? This is from Thistlemore Pottery.
More. I just
Pottery.
want you to know that me and Josh now call you more. Because it's a tongue twister. Thistlemore.
Thistlemore.
Anyway.
So I think we talked about this when we were deciding how to set up our booth at the coffee show together. But I think it depends on if you have neighbors immediately next to you or not. But I'm definitely the outside L fan. You're not
You're an
technically
outside
bringing the
L fan.
people
I would.
in, but I'm definitely outside L fan.
Yeah, I would definitely say also I'm an outside L fan, but I think that it does depend on the show. You know, if it's more of like a spread out show, I think an inside L is appropriate. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's like a butt to butt, side to side kind of show, outside L all the time.
Yeah. What if it's a corner booth? Inside L, corner booth, outside L?
Outside L corner booth. Oh, but
Outside
I
L.
guess if you're a wall to wall show, you can't really do an outside L because
I mean, you could. It's depends on the tables you got, Depends on
Yeah.
how comfy you want to get. If you have a 6 foot table, you could bump that right up to the edge of the booth, and then you
Yeah.
can put the 6 foot table, the other 6 foot table, right up against it, and you'd basically have about 3 to 4 feet coverage on the one side of the booth.
Yeah.
But I mean, you kind of go for the outside L so that you get more visibility from the front of the booth without having to walk inside.
Yeah.
Whereas inside L, you really only have about 3 feet. If we're talking a 6x3 table, you only have about 3 feet of coverage to get people's attention from the outside edge.
I also feel like an inside L, where are you going to sit? You know?
I do the inside L at a couple shows, and I have to sit behind the booth because that back
Yeah.
table is basically right up against the back edge of the booth, so that all the
Yeah.
tables are completely undercover, and then I'm basically in the back foot and a half of the booth.
It'd be interesting to see if you, like, of the outside L, inside L shows, which ones you do better at, you know?
But I mean, I tweak it based on the show that I'm at. There's a
That's
reason
true.
I'm doing it. I mean, I would pretty much always do an outside L if I could.
Yeah.
I only do the inside L because it wouldn't, with the number of people coming in and stuff, it would be just too tight to do an inside to do an outside L at like Hyde Park is the one I'm thinking of. That's
Yeah.
uh you're right up against your neighbor and they have a wall up on both sides of you, so there's not a bunch of visual space for you to like get attention, and you kind of want people to be able to walk in
Yeah.
because if you are on the edge of the booth and there's a lot of people, they can stop at your booth and they're kind of blocking traffic a little bit if they
Right.
can't even get inside your booth. And if they're standing at the table, they kind of block people from seeing as well. But I mean, that's kind of the same at a show that's a little spread out. But I mean, hopefully you have enough room that people can look at both tables,
Right.
however you have it set up.
For sure. Yeah, I don't even do an L, so I guess I can't really say to it, but I prefer the outside L. Um
Yeah. I think
I
COVID was
think
the first time I started doing that just to have the separation between me and the customer, but I really like it. I mean, it takes less commitment for the customer. They just approach the booth and they don't have to walk inside.
and what's nice about it is that you can get like a higher chair like the chairs that we have
Right.
and sit behind and look assertive and but you're still sitting, you know?
Yeah.
I really like that part.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you'd want it's a little tougher if it's a little riskier weather situation because then you're in cover and the customers have no cover for the most part, or
Right.
maybe there's a foot of coverage along the inside of your booth where the tables are moved in slightly so that they can be undercover just a bit, like I've done at Berea. But it's good for like a good weather day where they don't have to be out of the sun or out of or undercover. And I just like it, it's a less commitment. The pieces are closer to them physically as they're walking along the aisle,
Mhm.
and then they can just stop if they want, and it's not like they have to. Okay, it's like a commitment when you walk into a booth sometimes, and it's like, okay, now I'm focal to them, and like they can engage me and stuff like that, you
Yeah.
know. So
For sure.
yeah, I'm definitely team outside L as much as possible.
Team OL.
I'm actually getting into thinking about like for the Madison show, the really good one that I did last year. I actually
Yeah.
upgraded to a corner booth this time. Like I
Oh,
think it was like
nice.
$50 more, so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. Like the booth that I ended up having, there was nobody next to me because they didn't show up, so I did essentially have a corner. But I was like, you know what, this setup like worked, and there were quite a bit of people. There's a good crowd, so
Yeah.
I think the corner's worth it. You know
I forgot to tell you.
what?
I got into a show.
You did? Which one?
I got into Art on the Square in Bloomington.
Art on the Square. Okay, when is that?
Don't know. Sometime in June.
Okay.
So
Art on the Square in June. That's one that you did last year, right?
no, I did not do that one last year.
What was the
I did
Bloomington one
do
that you did?
no, I did do that was in that was in northern Indy. Um
Oh, that wasn't
no,
Bloomington. Okay. Did you do a show in Bloomington? I thought you
no,
did.
but I did a show in Bloomington and I also did a show on a square. But they were not in the
They're not
same
the same
town.
show.
Right. Um the one I did on the square was in Newcastle, something with an N. And the Bloomington one was the Christmas show. And I'm also in the summer show of that Christmas show.
Okay,
Handmade.
so the one you're doing is already kind of in association with a show that you've already done before, but it's not the exact same show.
I'm actually doing two shows in Bloomington. So the
Mm.
handmade Bloomington and then Bloomington Square Bloomington.
So you got into two shows.
I did.
Nice. So the
Yeah.
one's in June and the other one's in when?
Dude, why are you asking me these questions?
Because you should fucking know.
They're on my calendar.
Well, I'm saying, is it a summer one? Is it a fall show? Is it a
Oh, it's
winter
summer.
show?
So,
They're both summer.
okay, Art Fair on the Square is the week after your show.
Okay, so it's the 24th and
Back
25th probably.
the 24th. It's just one day and then Bloomington Summer Market is the 10th. So, it's sandwiching your show.
The 10th of June?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I've got two shows in June.
Yeah. So people might want to come see you in Bloomington if they're in that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And you're still considering whether you're going to come to Louisville or not. It seems like if it's sandwiched between them, you're probably not going to.
well, if I have all my work, then I could just come down to Louisville and spend some time with your parents
Mm-hmm.
and then go back up to Bloomington. It's honestly the same
Yeah.
distance from Bloomington. So,
Yeah. Well, we have a spot open because Amruta can't do it. She has another show that she double booked,
oh no.
so we have a spot.
Well, I don't want to do it if Amruta's not doing it.
You're not going to do if she's not going to be there?
I'm kidding. But yes, I really love Amruta. She's part
I
of
do
my
too. They've
favorite
been coming down the
reason for that.
last 3 years. We've been doing it. It's been a good.
She's like a staple. She's like a
Yeah.
pivotal part of that show.
Carlos and Deech are gonna be disappointed they don't get to see them that weekend, and Mitesh
They
and
are.
Amrita.
It's
Yeah.
like an interrogation every time they come down with all the questions about India. It's fantastic. It's like I
Well, I think it
love
kind of
it.
goes both ways a little bit
Oh,
of
for sure,
like,
100%.
yeah,
100%. But there's just all the talking and it's so much fun.
yeah,
Um there's a lot of cultural learning
uh-huh,
within that weekend, which is really really fun. And
yeah,
lots of good food typically.
yeah, that's true. So that backyard craft show
Yeah.
is June 17th. That's in Louisville, Kentucky.
Is Darty still doing the backyard craft show?
So, she said she is. She's not doing
Okay.
the same show as Amrita. So
Okay.
yeah, she said she is.
Cool.
So that should be a good
Sweet.
good time.
It will be good.
All right, so that was the first question.
Okay, the second question, if I can find it. Dun, 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 dun,
It's
dun,
another
dun, dun,
show
dun,
related question.
is okay.
Anonymous.
It says, I'd like to ask anonymously, how do you all feel about about being put directly next to another potter at a mixed art show? I personally would prefer that there is some space between each medium so people's minds aren't directly comparing artists' work.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a oversight by the organizer. I don't think that should
Yeah.
happen. They shouldn't be putting potters immediately next to each other unless they have so many. Like, I get if they're across from you, maybe within eyesight,
Yeah.
but not directly next to. I feel like that's not good.
Yeah, it's like one thing for a show like Berea where there's like 5 billion potters, but
Yeah. But even
like where
then,
it's
she was
known
across
for
from me.
pottery.
So it's
Yeah, but
like,
even then, there was still some separation. But I definitely think you do need to have like a little separation. You know what's really funny is that I was at a show once, and the show director thought it would be cool to put all of the like items together.
oh gosh.
So like all the cup people, and this was at like in the height of vinyl like sparkle cups. And so like
Oh, so it wasn't all just
so like
pottery. It
I
was
was
just
there.
people that have serving wares or something like
Cups,
dinnerware,
like cups, and
kitchenware.
yeah, yeah. So like
Oh
all
my
the
gosh.
potters are in the same section, all the cup people, all the vinyl cup moms,
Oh
like
my
we're
gosh.
all in this. It was so funny, and they were like so bent over about it, all these ladies, and I was like, "Meh."
Oh fuck yeah, they were.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. That
we none of us made any money anyway. It's fine.
well the I wonder if this is a newer like I think that's like a new show thing, you know? Like
Yeah,
if you've done it once like that, you almost know that they're probably not going to do it again. Like they're going to get feedback that says, "Don't do this."
it's like yeah, like fuck you guys.
Like, "Hey, you know, to help our customers out, we actually partitioned everything off into little groups. So, you know, this is the ceramic section, this is the jewelry section, this is the wood section." Could you imagine that? Like,
So they
oh,
can just find the ones they like the
oh
most.
my gosh, that sounds fucking horrible.
Oh God.
I mean, at face
Yeah.
level, it might sound like a good idea because that's how you, as a shopper, as an or like, that's how you look for things because you want to see all of the options. But like,
Yeah.
for the flow of a show, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no. Nope, nope, nope.
But the thing is, even our ceramics one. So we have the spring pottery fair coming up. But the benefit is we know the people's work, so we can actually put people
That are
that aren't
like, yeah, different
not really
places.
like ident like you can put a hand builder next to a wheel thrower and you've also got
Right.
some gas fired pieces and oxidation pieces and somebody that does sculptural things. So like there's enough variety we can make a show flow well where it's not and you could still have 40 ceramic artists in a show that's only ceramics
Right.
and it doesn't feel like what we just talked about.
Are they still accepting applications to the spring pottery show thing?
No,
Th-
that's like 2
th-
weeks from now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's May 6th.
Damn.
Yeah, you would have had to join back in February.
Oh fuck.
It was only
Nope.
open from February to March.
Yep, nope. I'm not
You can
that kind
try
of
it
a
next year
person.
if you want, though.
Meh. We'll see.
I mean, I think your work would sell there. I think we talked about this before. I think your work would sell at like a pottery show because your pieces are different than
Yeah.
a typical potter.
True.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely a. It also could have been that the person that got put next to you was filling in for somebody that dropped out last minute. So maybe they were waitlisted and they were plopping
Yeah.
somebody into a spot that was open and didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
Because at that, I've been on the planning committee side of this. Like, you don't want to be reaching out to people and saying, "Hey, can I swap you last minute and
Right.
reposition people?" You don't really want to have to get down that road because then you got to get confirmation and like, what if they say no? And then I don't know. I mean, you
Yeah.
usually don't find out. I mean, I guess you do usually find out your booth space at least a few weeks before
Yeah.
a show. Depends on how big
The only
the show
time
is.
I find it acceptable to be next to somebody who's like items is when it's your friend.
It's your friend, yeah.
Like you get to like yeah, you get to like shoot the shit the whole day, especially when it's a slow show. You're like, fuck yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that would ever be a I mean, some shows you can request. Is there a request that you're
Yeah.
next to somebody and you can put that request in? But typically, that would be mutual. You would know that you're planning to do that.
Right. Yeah, like I don't ask to be next to Deanna because we do sell such similar things.
Yeah, I
But
mean now you both sell she's
yeah,
probably always sold earrings, but now you both do. So.
yeah. But like when we're at the farmers market, yeah, we fucking were next to each other and we demanded it. You know,
Hmm.
we're like, no, 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 and like we sold each other stuff sometimes. You know, but but
Yeah.
yeah,
Is that the only positive?
to be
If
next
you were
to
put
somebody
next to
that's
another Potter?
to make friends. You can make friends. I like making friends.
Making friends, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know from a customer standpoint that there would be. Yeah, it just seems like more potential for missed sales for being right next to somebody.
Yeah, for me, like I was
But I don't
at
know.
the Bloomington show, I was across the way from a Potter, like not far, you know, at all. Some would say right next to them, but yeah, and I didn't have an issue with it at all because she had completely different pots than I did, and it was a totally different vibe. And also, she had handles on her pot, so people are like, "Do you have mugs?" I'm like, "No, but she does,"
There you go.
you know.
Yeah, I would suspect the shows that are
So,
mixed like that are gonna have photos, applications and stuff with your product
yeah.
photos, so they know what kind of stuff you're gonna have,
Mhm.
and that's part of their job is to put you not next to somebody that makes the exact same thing as you do.
Yeah.
So,
Get on it, man. Oh my god. Are allergies like insane there right now because allergies are
they weren't too bad today. I mean, I haven't taken an allergy pill in probably a couple days, but yeah, the last week or so they've been pretty shit.
my eyes are fucking bugging, man. I don't even know if I have allergy medicine.
My
I
eyes
probably
don't
need
get
to go
bad.
get
It's
some.
mostly just I just get congested. My nose and stuff just runs
Yeah.
and runs. So that's pretty annoying, but and sneezing a lot.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to go to our
Maybe it's
last
these
question?
candles.
What's that?
I said maybe it's the candles.
The candles? Oh, they could be. What scent are they?
There's like three different scents.
Okay.
One's Amruta's. Oop, I'm really close. One's Amruta's, one's a piney scent, and one's a wine scent.
Okay. Hmm.
I'm gonna blow them out.
So what,
Or
you have multiple candles going right now?
that's how I got the light.
Okay.
There's three candles.
Just talking by candlelight.
I
Ooh.
am, and I didn't even need to be.
Okay. Okay, so before we move on to our last question, which will be the longer discussion, is there anything about the kilns and whatnot that's going on? I feel like we don't want to miss this chance because we almost missed it last time.
We did almost miss it last time.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you did the element replacement. What else did y'all replace?
hold on. I did the element. We did the elements. We did the thermocouples, and then I didn't actually replace the relays. Sarah's hub friend replaced the relays.
Hmm.
So, um, but yeah, it was pretty easy. Like, it only took like 2 hours for. Oh, and we replaced the control panel on the box.
Oh, the whole control panel. Was that what was that basically unplugging a few things, matching them back up and unscrewing the
Yeah,
panel?
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay. Was it because it didn't turn on before at all or oh,
No,
the whole
it
electronic
did, but it
thing.
had. Yeah, it did, but like some of the buttons didn't work, but now they still don't work, so I don't know if that's actually the control panel or not. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so
Is it the Genesis
uh
and all that?
no, it's the diometric.
The Dynafire, Dynatrol thing?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So but yeah, we're really excited to get it kind of like up and running. I think it's pretty amazing that a 25-year-old kiln it was that easy to change everything out. like what I was thinking of when I was when like I it was me, Merritt, and Sarah that did it together. And at one point, Merritt was like, "Well, I'm fucking buying an L&L kiln because this is easy." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it is really easy. It's crazy because I've never replaced the elements in an L&L kiln before, and I mean, you do have to like stretch them out a bit and get like your fingers in there to kind of like make sure they don't pop out, but once they're in, they're pretty much in, which is like really cool.
Yeah, I
And
mean, just the time it takes to unpin everything and repin everything for regular elements
yeah.
in most of the other kilns you're going to do element
Yeah.
replacement, it's that time definitely adds up.
And then like pinning in the very bottom of a kiln is quite possibly my least favorite task of all time. Like if you like I've always had to take off the upper ring of a kiln and move it to a table and so I could do the bottoms because I'm so short. And in this one it wasn't hard to get the elements in the bottom, you know? And I think that that is like a huge like it kind of makes me bummed that I got a cone art like a year ago when I could have gotten like an L&L. You know, like
Yeah, probably wouldn't have had
I'm
to
not
wait 9 months for it either.
like right. I don't regret the kiln that I have, but I definitely the next one that I have will be an L&L. And I do think that those element like the element what are
Channels.
they called? Channels are really worth it. Like they are worth it. And um
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's one of those tasks that you're all the maintenance phase. That's funny I mentioned.
Yeah.
That wasn't intentional. The maintenance portion of your kiln is always a like, you know, I maybe it's just me. I always drag my feet whenever it gets to that point,
Yeah.
and with it being easy enough to where it's like, okay, I can get this thing done within a couple hours or an hour and some change, and it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah, I think that definitely if it was a brand new kiln, it would be a lot less time. You know, we were dealing with rust and like a different element situation like the actual connection end. So, but you know, in a newer kiln, it's gonna take like half the time. Like when we finished, Merritt was like, I thought it was 3 o'clock and it was only one, and we started at like 11.
Wow.
So, um, and that was replacing the thermocouples, the elements, and the control panel, and we ended at one.
Well, that's pretty sweet. Did you end up taking the whole panel off to get to the elements when you were replacing them and everything?
Yeah, this one's a little bit different. So it has three different panels on three different rings.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's not a whole single unit that's
no,
on a
this
hinge and
was
stuff. Okay.
pre-single unit. But what was really cool that I don't know if I just said this or not, but what was really cool that I was thinking of was that it's awesome that something that's 25 years old like is built so well that or not so well but like it's easy to like it was easy, right? And the
Hmm.
fact that it's 25 years old and it was easy means that it's only getting easier, you know?
Right.
And it just like goes to show you how good of a company it was in 1997. And like it's just only getting better, you know? In the technologies and everything that they're doing. And I think that was the biggest thing. I have changed a lot of elements, and
Yep.
I have worked on a lot of different kilns that are old, and this was the easiest old kiln that I've ever worked on. So I think that's a good testament to the
Nice.
company just in itself.
Yeah, I think once you settle on those element channels and they've been around so long that it's like, hey, they found something that worked.
Yeah,
You
for
just
sure.
keep it going.
Yeah, don't fix something that's not broken for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And
those are
we got all of our parts from hotkilns.com.
there you go. Hotkilns.com. Thanks, Elena.
Boom. Thanks.
We had
We
a
should have
little
like,
throwback to an L and L earlier. We were like outside L or inside L. We didn't know we were saying L or L.
oh, oh, what?
That's a stretch, but all right. Do you have the third question up?
I can get it up real
Or I
quick.
could pull it up. I think you just
I got
read the
it.
last one, so you got it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we've kind of touched on this, but I think it's good to touch on it again, especially in this day and age. It says, I'm struggling between free shipping built into price or additional shipping and handling fees, which is preferable to buyers.
This is from Carrie Painter Art.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay. How do you do it?
So, I've actually recently changed. Normally, if I'm doing cups, I would normally do a $10 flat fee.
Per cup
I
or
know.
as
Per
many things
order.
as you want, $10.
Yeah. Um, I've recently changed to free shipping because, for a very specific reason, because I'm shipping more jewelry now, and everything that I ship essentially is $5.
It's first
So I
class,
just,
yeah.
yeah, so I just add, well, it's $4. I just added on to the cost of what I'm selling. Um, Sometimes it evens out, sometimes it doesn't. Like with the fidget stones and Etsy like really like encourages you to do free shipping. With the fidget stones, I have free shipping, but I'm hoping that most of them will be like a multiple fidget stone purchase.
How much do they encourage you though? Do you have free shipping on everything in your Etsy shop?
Right now I do, yeah.
Okay. I mean, when they first started it, they were mentioning we really encourage you to do this, and
I think it's just like a verbal encouragement. And it's like I think it does matter to some people. Like if I put $5 shipping, like for instance, the fidget stone. If I make the fidget stone $11 or $13 or and free shipping, that sounds a lot better than $10 plus four $4 shipping, you know? Like the shipping can be a lot. It's a full prime situation, you know?
I don't know. I
Prime
think
screwed
I
us
think
all
buyers
over.
will buy it either way. It's just certain. I don't know. You'd have to almost experiment with it, but you'd
I
almost
think
have to have a true
psychologically
experiment.
buyers I think psychologically buyers prefer free.
But they still know.
Oh, for sure. But they don't have to like add that to their costs. It's like that's the end game. I know I prefer free.
Do you? If you're buying a cup from somebody, if you're from okay, it depends on what you're buying, right? I mean, we're not
That's
talking about
true.
Amazon here.
Right.
Amazon, do you prefer free? Do you prefer free across the board, or do you change it based on the person you're buying from or the entity you're buying from?
Hmm. I don't know.
I think
That's a
we've
good
come to
question.
expect that big business is going to have free shipping because they can
Yeah.
afford to eat the shipping cost, but it's also they can figure out a way to price it so that they're accounting for shipping still and it's not really free and they're going to do the bare minimum. I
Right.
think I think from a small business handmade standpoint, I think buyers understand that shipping is not really free, especially
Right.
when somebody that's a small business is typically going to put more care and attention and little things to make the shipping and packaging a little bit better
Yeah.
than an Amazon, which is going to put the bare minimum thing in the box and they're going to ship it to you and you're going to
Right.
get it quickly, but it's not going to have any personality to it
Yeah.
because they just
I
can't do that in volume. But
okay, here's what I think. I do think that people notice when it is free shipping. Okay?
just
I
before
don't
when they're buying. when they're like just
When
looking at the checkout.
right, when they're buying. They're like they notice. And but also I think that for me on the sender side, it's almost like for me personally, it's easier right now. Like if I can just make my items $10 more, like the fancy cups, if I make them 110 instead of 98 and have free shipping, that seems easier just because it's only one shipping profile. And I don't have to worry about it. If I do some weird fucking sale on Instagram, I don't have to worry about it, you know?
What do you mean
Like,
by shipping profile? What do you mean by that?
um,
Are we talking Etsy here?
not, well, I guess Etsy or like Square, they
I
always
mean,
are
it
like,
depends on the platform you're using, right? Some
yeah.
platforms will adjust pricing based on the weight and all that shit, and
Yeah, but
it'll.
then you have to like have all the weight. Like, as somebody who does not plan that way, I like free shipping.
But all of your things are the exact same,
Well,
so
until I
you know
start
the
doing
weight.
pots.
What?
Until I start doing pots.
But you know how much the pots weigh.
Do I?
Yeah, I can tell you what those pots weigh. Those pots packed up, one small cup is probably less than a pound. I would say probably like 10 ounces, maybe 11 ounces
I know, but like, it's just easier,
in a
okay?
4 by
It's
4
just
by 4
like,
box.
is the lazy man's. I'm not shipping a fucking $50 cup in a 4 by 4 by 4 box. Um,
The little bitty cup, the little bitty one,
no, fuck that. That's going in a 6 by 6.
5 by 5 by 5.
6 by 6 by 6.
Okay, whatever. It's still not gonna be a pound, I don't think.
No.
So
Um,
you're still paying first class, which is
yes.
$5. So technically, I guess you'd be making money on it if you put $10 on it.
Right, but the small ones I may add $5 and the big ones I might add 10. And then if I have to ship them together, it might be 12. And then I've just, you know,
Why do you
made it.
eat? Okay. Why would you eat the cost though?
You're not eating the cost.
But you just said five. If it's gonna be more than five, right?
No, like, okay, if I have let's say I am shipping it for first class, right? Like it's a less than a pound. Okay, I have the small cup and I'm adding $5 to that. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
55 instead of 50.
Yeah.
And then the big cup, I add $10 to that, so it's 110 instead of 100. We're
Yeah.
rounding up because they're 98, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then if somebody buys a small cup and a big cup, then I'm
You've accounted
right
for
at
$15 worth,
right, and you're fine.
and that's probably okay. You're probably gonna end up making a little bit of money on it.
Right,
Extra,
and so on and so forth.
maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's the same thing as $10 flat rate, you
As
know?
long as people understand that you should. Okay. What about the you should all? So you're saying you should definitely be adding cost onto the price,
Oh, for
the
sure. I'm
retail
not
price.
saying that you should have a $45 cup and ship it for free and eat that $15 or
Yeah.
$10 or whatever
And they
you spent.
specified that. They said built into price. So your
Yeah.
retail price plus the typical shipping cost
Yeah.
uh, for
I think with
any
this
unit
day and
shipping.
age, people expect to pay a little bit more money for like pottery and crafts in general. So I don't think that it would be that big of a deal, to just add it in. But I think that as far as customers are concerned, you'd have to do some research to see whether customers really care, you know?
Yeah, and
Like,
there's not an easy and I wouldn't say there's uh a true way to test it without okay, so what we call this in web development terms would be an A/B test. So
okay.
you would run a test over the same period of time to the equivalent group of people, and you would show 50% of the audience the A sample, which would be your piece priced up with the shipping included, marked as free shipping. And then at the exact same period of time, the other 50% of your audience could see the retail cost, shipping added at checkout. It's calculated based on the shipping, and the people that are in group B could never see group A test and vice versa.
Mhm.
So that you're testing at the same period of time so that you can't say, oh well, it's a better shopping season if I do it for 1 month and then I wait the next month. The next month is not equivalent to the previous month because maybe there was other buying
Right.
opportunities or you had different stock in the shop. Like you have to test as close as possible and one variable is the only difference, which would be
Yeah.
your cost. So there's not really a true way to do that with Etsy. There might be a way to do that with a personal website. You'd have to get crafty with it. Uh, as far as I know, there's not a way to do that with Etsy. But maybe you could. But yeah, that, and I don't. I also don't think with it being such a psychological thing, I don't know that you can actually just ask people and I mean, they can give you their.
I agree. Like they don't know.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think they can just give you their answer of what they prefer, just straight up because, like you said, it is very psychological and it's a mental thing where how much does it factor in? How much like pause do they have when they look at a final price with the shipping? Is it like a 5 second thought of, oh, but I really want this thing? And I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some differences with, is it a sellout person that the stock's not going to be there regardless, so you have to pay whatever they charge, and you're just prepared that okay, there might be shipping costs on top of whatever I see. Um,
Yeah.
so there's yeah, I don't know. So the way I do it, I always just add shipping costs to it. The main reason I do that is because I sell at many different places, consignment, wholesale, shows, and I want the cost to be the same no matter where they
Yeah.
buy it. And the shipping to me is like, hey, like they should understand that shipping is not free.
Yeah.
Even if it's psychologically you're building into the price and you up the price and then it's, um I just make them charge for shipping because I've always done that and I'm just like, hey, shipping is not free. The boxes aren't free, the packing material is not free, the time to pack it is not free, the walk to and from the post office is not free. Like that's all labor. So, and there's materials. I know the materials are cheap. I mean, the materials for a
Yeah.
package is probably like less than $1, but um, it's not free. So that's just the way I look at it. And I'm just like, well,
I
and then they can,
totally agree.
and then they can choose,
Definitely not free.
hey, if they buy, and if they need something quicker, they can always pay for. Usually if it's a spoon rest or something, if it's anything less than a pound, that usually they have that option. Like I've seen a few people upgrade it and say, you know what, I want priority over the first class because it's quicker. So like they have that option if they want to pay a little bit more for
Yeah.
a spoon rest might be 385 to ship it first class, and then they have the option to pay $7 if they want to pay priority.
Yeah.
But and then the way I also add a handling fee to each piece. So I typically, if it's any piece that I sell into like a individual piece, like a mug or shot glass or spoon rest, whatever, I'll add 50 cents to every item,
Mhm.
and that's meant to cover.
And that
Um,
pays Rachel.
it's kind of a labor charge, but it's more of like a materials charge. Is kind of the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
That the price that they're paying for shipping is meant to cover the service itself that cancels out, and then the 50 cents is meant to cover the supplies. Uh, the only time I do charge $1 per item if it's a mystery box because there is more packaging and more labor involved in that because you're packing 3 to 5 things.
Yeah.
So I charge an extra dollar per order of that, and then if it's like a mystery planter box, I think that's $1 as well. But um, yeah, that's just the way I do it. I mean, maybe I don't. It's always kind of a question mark too of like how do you account for your labor when you're packing boxes because it's not zero time. Yours is
Yeah.
basically zero because you're just packing a padded thing. I don't
Well,
know.
sometimes. I mean, it depends on if it's earrings or a fidget stone. Like a fidget stone is zero time, 100%.
Yeah.
But like earrings, I have to make sure those aren't breaking.
Yeah. I mean,
You know.
there's still labor though. Like, I don't know. I mean, you could get super granular with it, like we've talked about in the past with the fidget stone stuff, where you're going and finding it, you're getting it, you're putting in the package, you're making sure you've got to get all the
Yeah.
packages, you got to go to your computer, print the label, make sure it's the right order. I don't know if you put a card in there. I mean, it's minuscule, it's seconds at a time, but it's not zero, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and then I mean, you could always have your stuff picked up, which is, no extra effort on your part, or you can take it to a post office or whatever. But
I'm really enjoying that I have a little post office box right next to the parking lot that I sleep in.
mhm.
It's one of the little blue
Like a blue
boxes, you know?
Dropbox.
Yeah, other than the fact that it's very much in a questionable area, it's uh very enjoyable for me. I don't have to go to the post office and all my stuff fits in there, so I just kind of like drop it off on my way home.
I mean, it's not it's shady as in like you think somebody would break into a mailbox.
No, I think somebody will steal my car.
Oh, oh, okay. I thought you meant, I was like, I think that's a federal crime to like break into a mailbox or something.
No, I'm just like, I like get out of my car and I leave it running and I'm like
Oh,
trying to like stuff them in the box.
oh,
And
I
then
gotcha.
like
Yeah, that's
today,
a little
some
shady.
guy was yelling at his girlfriend and he was like, "Fuck you, ba 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 ba," and like walking past my car and then coming back and then coming back around the other way. And
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I don't care how short of a thing is. If I drive to the post office and I get out of my car, I always turn it off and take the keys. Like, it's not worth risking leaving your car. Like, what's the benefit there?
yeah. I definitely will probably, I mean, I had my keys in my pocket, but I definitely will probably like lock the door next time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting question because I mean, the ultimate question was which is preferable to buyers. I don't honestly know. I think as a as a buyer myself, I just expect that shipping is going to be added to it, and I've got to be prepared to spend. If I'm prepared to spend money, I should be prepared to spend a little extra for shipping if it's added because it's up to the. I don't know. I mean, if I feel like you should be able to budget for the shipping and you shouldn't be deterred from it. I mean, the only other thing that's similar to that I do get deterred from is like buying tickets for something and you see the fees in the end.
Ah, fucking
That kind
hate
of stuff
that.
fucking pisses me off. But I mean, you also have options of different levels and prices of seats that you're buying typically, so you can go with a cheaper price if you don't want to pay the total amount that is quoted because that's fucking ridiculous. Um, but I don't know.
I don't know if we'll ever know what buyers want. I think that you shouldn't care what buyers want and you should do what's easiest for you. What's easiest for me is free. What's easiest for Ryan is to add. You know,
Yeah,
I
easiest and
really,
like I also have intention about like
yeah,
I try to pack the box as well and like put thank you note and stuff. So it's I mean they're not gonna remember I paid for shipping, but it's like my shot glass. Somebody can buy a shot glass for $10 and the shipping is 5, so they can get it to their house for like $15. That's still
you know what? Part of me too also feels like if they had to pay for shipping, maybe they would buy more to compensate. Like if, like, let's say they bought two things and shipping was $10,
that's
or
true.
like they bought one thing and the shipping was $10, but they bought two things and it was also $10 or $12. Like you may be more inclined to buy
Ooh,
more.
I've actually done that. That's a good thing to bring up. I've actually done that. I bought more product because I wanted, it's like I'm already paying $20 for shipping for one thing. I might as well buy a second thing
Yeah,
and pay the same amount in shipping so that
maybe
I
I
get
should
more for
have
my
them pay
money.
for shipping for the fidget stones. That would make sense.
I mean, the fidget stones, they could still get it to them to their door for $15, right?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of money.
But
I
it's
I lose
Doesn't
money.
15 seem like a lot for a shot glass being delivered to you? I think we've
Yeah.
already talked about this comparing the price, but
Yeah, we have.
I'm
Yeah, I know. I should think about that.
I mean, also, what about having your shop with some items free shipping, some not? Is that a
Is
little
that
weird?
like, yeah. I mean, like, I would be totally fine putting free shipping on almost any earrings
How does that
because
work? If you put that in your shopping cart and you have a free shipping and a non-free shipping, so
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that does.
I think it's just for that item. That just means for that item there's no shipping charges.
I don't know. Yeah.
Huh. Are the shirts the same way in your shop? They're all free shipping?
I think shirts have shipping charge. $5.
Okay. Which is funny because you're not even shipping them. They're drop shipped.
They get the
They get the what?
like the company that drop ships it sets the price for shipping,
Oh, okay.
and then yeah, and then they charge me for shipping, and then I pay for the ship. It's like a whole thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I do think the I mean that is something that you can kind of gauge a little. I don't know. It's tough.
I feel really conflicted because this is like coming up with my fidget stones a lot, and it's like, ooh, like I want it to be free shipping because it's, I want it to feel like it's not that expensive, but then I have it
But
so
there's no
cheap.
comparable out there. Like, are
I
you
know.
competing with other people for that item? Like, I don't think so.
There's a few, but no, you're right. There's
I mean,
nobody like,
I think for the shot glasses on Etsy at least, I think I stand out because my price is so good,
yeah,
as well as the it puts like a bestseller badge on it because other people buy
yeah,
it a lot. But yeah, I think your point about buying multiples is also great as well. Because like let's say your fidget stone 15, 30 bucks, or they could get two of them for $10 at 20, and then they could probably still pay five
five
bucks and they paid
bucks.
less in the end
Yeah,
because they're getting multiples. So I think the shipping charge is a good point to make that it does incentivize people to buy multiple.
yeah, for sure.
So
Uh,
that's a great point. Uh
I'm frustrated.
do you have your fidget stones as a set on Etsy as well, or are they all singles?
I didn't do the rainbow set on Etsy, I don't think. I need to.
Hmm.
I did it on my regular website. Yeah. I
Yeah,
should do another set too.
I mean, you could definitely test it out. It's not going to be just be aware that there are factors that are going to vary.
Yeah.
Like you
Like
know,
I would do a set of four for $40 with free shipping, and I'd feel really good about that. You know?
yeah, set of
You're
four
paying
for
a
forty
dollar a fidget
dollars.
stone. Yeah.
Yeah, so $10, and you're basically getting
It's basically $9 a piece. Yeah.
yeah. That sounds good. I mean, your price that you were doing that was a really low price you were doing for that set of them.
Yeah, I think I did 45
Yeah, it
in
was like
shipping.
$8 a piece or something instead of $10 a piece, I think, or
Mhm.
which I guess is not bad if you're considering like what wholesale price would be, and you were kind of meeting between wholesale and retail.
Right. Yeah. That's typically how I view sales. If I can get above wholesale, then I'm fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Struggling between free shipping built into price or additional shipping and handling fees. What about your own website? I know you've done oh, I can't remember. You're doing Squeebly.
Yeah, and
Are some of
typically
those easier to do free shipping
no.
versus
Oh yeah, it's like so much easier to just do free shipping, honestly. Like
why
if
is
if
that?
you're not paying for like the it's easier to do one flat price for shipping or free shipping. If you're not paying for the fancy squeebly, then they won't let you, like, you have to figure out the charge for everything. So like if you just do flat rate $10 or free shipping flat rate, like free shipping all around, or you know, but it gets kind of dicey when people like start adding things. So like sometimes, like I had it so the earrings were $4 but cups were 10, and somebody bought a cup and an earring and then it was $14 shipping. So
And then you would have got it there for $10 probably.
right, and so I like refunded the 4, and so it can be like really confusing just because of the way that Squeebly is, you know?
And that's
So that's
because you
why.
don't pay for the higher price, which is actually like
Right,
variable priced or something, and it
right,
actually takes into account the weight of the item and the size of the item, so it knows
right,
what boxes they'll
exactly.
fit in, and it's like it'll adjust on the fly, which is what Etsy does by default. As long as you
Right,
put your, I mean, you have to upfront put the size boxes that you have,
which
and
I
then
never do.
you have to put the weight that the thing is going to be and the size that the thing is going to be when it's packaged.
Right, which
So
I
let's say
also
you
don't
did a
do.
mug and you wrapped it up. You've got to say that this mug is going to be 6 by 6 by 6 wrapped up,
Yeah,
and it's going to weigh this much. Typically, that gets a little iffy because you got to kind of pad it a little bit because the packing material is going to add a little bit, and you don't want to risk under accounting for the weight.
right,
The size is not that big of a deal. I mean, as long as it's in a ballpark and it's not, I wouldn't say you're going to get screwed on the size of the box, but the weight you'll get screwed on if you underweigh it. If you're like, oh well, this is actually, you can't just stick your mug on the scale and be like, okay, it's a pound. But when you
right.
actually weigh it with the packing and everything, it's like a pound and 6 ounces or something. Like that's a big difference. So
Mhm.
you'll definitely get screwed once people start buying multiple things.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a lot. Like it's just, for me, it's a lot easier to do a flat rate,
but I
whether that
mean,
be free or added, like
but the
$10.
but for your things, you know how big everything is. So you saying, "Oh, well, I don't think about that," but like you do it once,
It's not that easy. So
but
like
you
every
duplicate an
different
item.
variable. So no, like let's say I put in that the
Are you talking about
amount
earrings or are you
for
talking about cups?
cups. Or no, earrings, sorry, earrings. So let's say cups, yes, it would be easy. For earrings, let's say I do like the Wade thing or whatever, which doesn't really matter because it won't actually show up in my shipping profile. But I would have every single variable, which is every single color. I'd have to add in all the different weights.
No, you don't. Per
And the
weight, per color. What do you mean?
sizes.
On a single
Yeah,
listing, you
on
have.
Squeebly. On Squeebly, yeah, you have
Oh, I thought you meant
different
on Etsy. I'm
variations
like,
and you'd have to add the different.
okay, I
Yeah,
was
no.
talking about Etsy.
Oh, okay.
Etsy's pretty easy because you have it per listing, so each listing has its own weight and
Yeah. But
dimensions of.
Etsy is always just $5 shipping, like for me. So I just
Okay.
add the cost into the
Okay.
stuff. Like my earrings on Etsy are $21 and I'd like them to be $18 retail. So $3. I might be losing one. I don't know. But usually people buy more than one earring set of earrings. So
Okay. Do you think buyers know when you charge a flat rate for shipping that do you think they're smart enough to know kind of what it costs to ship something?
no.
No?
I don't think some people do.
Like if they see something and if you're getting a mug and you see that it's 15 or $20 to ship it, do you know that they're overcharging you for shipping? It's hard to
Ooh.
judge because we're very in the
Yeah.
know of what it actually costs
Yeah. Cuz that's going to be what, 12.30 to ship across the country
at most, I would
at
think. A
most.
mug.
I would say $15 is acceptable because you got your handling and shipping and handling kind of thing. But yeah, if somebody was charging $20, I don't think anybody would know the difference. They would think that it was $20.
Really?
Yeah.
because it's a little tough because you if you charge a flat rate, you're kind of charging for the highest possible cost that it could be so that you're not screwing yourself and shortchanging the shipping cost because you don't want to have to pay out of pocket for shipping.
Not
Um,
necessarily, because if you charge a flat rate, like Rebecca charges $5 flat rate, and she just adds in the other five
she
to like
charges
the
$5 flat rate
products.
and adds in five.
So let's say a mug would be like, let's say in your mind, you're like, okay, this mug is $30. You're like, great. And I want to ship it. So I'm going to make it $35 and then I'm going to charge $5 flat rate. And then when I ship that mug, it's going to be $10 to ship.
What if it's $12
And
to ship? Like you just said, it could be $12.
it could be.
So how do you account for that?
I was just making an example.
I know, but I'm saying, how do you not screw yourself? Because you have to account for it. It could be the most possible, the
You
shipping.
add in the money. So you'd make it $7 flat rate.
Okay, so if you could if you maybe ship to Hawaii or Alaska, like it could be 15. So then do you charge the most it could be potentially, even if it's going a state over?
Meh. I just eat the
Like that's what I'm
cost. I don't
saying
care.
is the customer gonna know that?
No, they won't.
Like if they're getting it from going to Indiana from Ohio, they know it's like not $15 to ship it that far.
Right.
And they paid $5 extra on the piece. Or well, I guess you wouldn't charge $5. You wouldn't charge. Maybe you charge $10 flat rate in that situation. $10 flat rate plus five on the piece.
Yeah.
But it's like I think if it's added to the piece, they don't really know. I guess that that's what it actually
Right.
costs, unless they show you at a show and know what your retail prices are. But
Yeah. But even then, your retail prices are added up $5 extra now. And that $5 is you fucking showing up at that goddamn show.
you do that? Oh, you would do that at a show too?
Yeah, that would just be my price.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Because why not?
Because you're trying to standardize it everywhere? So if you consigned with somebody,
Yeah.
that would be the same if you would be like, this is my new retail.
Yeah.
But where does that stop? Because why would you not say, well, that's my retail price. I need to charge an extra $5 to account for shipping online. How does that not continue going? Does that
Well,
make
you
sense?
add it into your price.
So the $5 extra is above what you would actually charge because you're doing some labor to get the piece to the customer,
Yeah,
whether
it's
you're
like
at a
part of your
show.
price.
Okay, so you're saying that's standard across any kind of selling avenue. You're always doing some
Yes.
work to get it to the customer and deliver it.
Well,
There's always some
yeah.
kind of there's always some kind of like shipping and handling, quote
If
unquote.
I'm sweating my balls off at a fucking show, I sure as fuck want to charge $5 extra for that cup.
You've done that? You've charged based on that?
All of my cups, like when I was like selling all my cups for like 25 instead of 20, that's exactly what I did. Once I started selling online, it just upped everything $5.
Okay. You haven't always done that though. You haven't done that for that's a more recent thing. Is that
Yeah,
right?
in the past like 5 years.
That's not been 5 years. I mean, you've talked about shows that you've sold things for cheap, for like $15 for cups, like shitty cups, haven't
Oh
you?
yeah, but those were the shitty cups. These are different.
Why is it
Like not
different?
because those were shitty cups.
But you still do
I'm
labor.
talking
You're
about
still
like
sweating your balls off at a show, right?
yeah, but I was also selling fancy cups. That was in a mental state of moments. Okay, we can't compare shitty cup era. Okay,
I just I just think if
shitty cup era is its own era. There is no reason or rhyme of shitty cup era.
I was
Okay,
trying to catch you in a situation where you didn't price that way because I didn't think that you had that. I know you went to a point where you were like, I'm charging $30 for these cups,
I did. I doubled it.
but that was for a specific reason as well. I don't know that you did that. I think you were doing that as a deterrent from having to make as many versus
Yeah.
charging more because of the labor involved in going to and from the show. I mean, maybe that was a factor, but
Just shitty cup era. We can't talk about that. That's not. That defies all rules.
but Shitty Cup era like was like that was a big part of your inventory before Shitty Cup era arrived, and you called it Shitty Cup era. Like that was a big portion of what you were making when you
That's
were at
fine.
the Leavenworth shows and stuff. Wouldn't you call that Shitty Cup era?
Oh no, that was me trying era. That was
But the quality of it was similar, wasn't it?
yeah,
The
but
pinch
that was
pots and
different.
all that.
It was different. Shitty cup era is like the last 2 years of when I did not give a goddamn shit, and and I'm so good that I can make these shitty ass cups and super cheap and sell them super cheap. That was shitty cup era. Before that was pottery store era, and pottery store era towards the end I started selling online, and that's when I started adding $5 to the cups and then $5 shipping.
Okay. I just haven't thought about saying, oh, well, maybe it's just because I've never charged that $5 extra on the piece that I've never been like, well, I need to up everything I sell at a show $5.
Why in the
Well,
fuck not?
because that's a big jump. That would be totally noticeable. I mean,
Yeah, but it's a great excuse.
but it just seems like you're charging more now than you did yesterday, and it just seems I don't know, maybe it just seems greedy to me to say I'm going to charge more today because all of a sudden I wasn't putting in the same effort at the show all the shows I've been doing the last 5 years, and all of a sudden I want to charge more for it because I'm worth the money. I'm worth the labor involved. Or, like it seems like
Well, also, okay, wait,
so
wait, 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 wait,
it was all free labor before. You weren't getting paid for that work before because you didn't
wait,
charge the
wait, wait,
extra money.
wait, 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 wait. I should also preface and say that everything now that I'm selling at shows, I'm also selling online. So if there's some things that you never sell online, then I don't know if that necessarily needs a price bump. Now, that's not to say that you are fucking allowed to bump your prices up $5. You're allowed to bump your prices up $20 if you
You can do
fucking
whatever
want
you
to.
want.
You can do whatever the fuck you want to. You're worth it. Like, yeah, do whatever you want.
I guess
But
the choice of why you're doing it.
does
Um,
it matter though? Maybe you just want $5 extra.
I don't know. I think I think the part of the difference is, and we've sort of touched on this in bits and pieces when we talk about wholesale. When you sell something wholesale, 50% of it is chopped off because they're making their profit on it, but it also costs
Right.
50% of the price of the item is to market and sell and get it to the
Right.
customer. So is shows not part of that? Just like selling online is not part of that? Why do you need to charge an extra bit on top of that that is above and beyond what that 50% of your cost of making the item should be to market and sell that thing? That's the way I look at selling at shows. It's like you either give your 50%, uh, you either do wholesale and they cut 50% off because they're selling it, or you go to a show and you charge 100% for the thing because you're spending that 50% in labor to sell it and market it and pay for the booth and set it up and all that stuff.
I don't know. I feel like you're being over analytical of this. Overly analytical.
It just seems like it seems like if I add $5, I'm like nickel and diamond people. I'm like, well, why is it $5 more? Well, I mean, they would have to know, but I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that and saying, okay, well now all of my spoon rests at shows are $23. My mugs are now $41 or I guess 35, I guess if you go with the small mugs. All of my bowls are 31. Like everything scales up $5. Like that just seems like a big jump all at once.
Inflation, Ryan.
That's
Inflation.
bullshit. You're just coming up with excuses to explain it.
I don't know. I mean, it just like that's just kind of the way that if I have to spend more than $5 shipping, that's just kind of like I split it. I put $5 on one end and $5 on the other. That's what I do.
$5 in one end, as in on the list price.
On the list price and $5 on the shipping price, typically. I don't know what I'm gonna start doing when I do fancy cups. I might still keep with the free shipping, honestly. It's easy.
I mean, I think you're kind of tied to that $100 mark, right? You want it to seem like it's, well, I guess maybe you would add, it would be over 100 now, right? It would be
Right.
105.
You're right. The $10 flat is
Well, I
not
guess 10, so it'd be
sucky.
108.
Yeah. I mean, like doing 98 and then 10 flat. The biggest thing for the $98 mark is the shows because people look at something that's $100 and they're like, nah.
Nope, they wouldn't be 98 anymore, Becca. You sell them online, you got to sell them for 105.
You're right. I would. Maybe 105 is better than 100.
And then you got to go to 108 because 5 is
Yeah,
close
I
to
was just
8.
gonna say that.
So,
Maybe they have to be 108. So, I mean, that's like $10 extra in my pocket.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just my struggle with the pricing get jumping. I want it to be gradual, but also the
You wouldn't even sell your fucking spoon rest for $18.
no way. I mean, I'll get comfortable with 18. I'm cranking them, and then I'll bump it up to 20. There's no way I'm gonna make that blank. I don't know. The blanket jump of 5 everywhere is crazy to
Live
me.
your goddamn life, Ryan.
Why do I need to charge $5 more on that thing?
Why not?
Why though?
Why not?
what's the end goal?
Because your
What
fucking spoon rests are worth $20.
are they worth $23?
Sure.
What is the I don't know. I think I would be I don't know. It's tough because I'm
Did
like,
we?
is the price point the thing that is I don't think the price point is sticky for people now. Maybe it's because it's too underpriced, but there's also a spot of like 36 is not an easy buy for most of the non-pottery like everyday people that are buying it, I think.
Yeah.
I still I think 41 from 36 is a jump. Like once you break that 40 mark
Just remember
for everyday
what
people,
Kurt always says these are luxury items.
I think I've got to be comfortable with thinking my thing is worth $40 to be charging $40.
It is worth $40. Dude, they sell fucking plastic cups for $40. Shit, you know, somewhere they do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I sell lots of stuff for more, but I don't know. I think ultimately you got to feel comfortable with whatever you're pricing it for and have a reason why you price it that way. I mean, you shouldn't have to explain it to a customer, but if you don't feel comfortable about it,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's little by little. Like I bumped a lot of things up by a couple bucks, and that's pretty standard for me to bump things up a little bit every year. Um,
Me and Sarah and Merritt have been talking about pricing a lot before Merritt moved out of the studio, and Sarah did a show and she just bumped everything up like $30. She was like, "Fuck it."
I think Sarah makes fewer quantity,
True.
fancier, right? So she's already catering to a niche crowd.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just maybe it's just because her I see her pieces as very unique to like you're not going to go to a show and find other pieces that are that are close to hers that you could compare. Not that all customers are comparing pieces one to one and like, okay, which one do I like better from different
Mhm.
artists, but like I mean, unless you're just essentially saying I need a cup. But I mean, that goes into psychology, like what people are buying it for. Are they buying it for the design? Are they buying it for the function? Are they buying it for the price point? It's all of it.
Right.
The person, do they like her more than Joe Schmo down the
Right, totally.
road? So I don't know. I feel like for a basic bitch mug, the price is going to be a more of a factor. I don't know. All right, that was a lot of online shipping to pricing, but it all, I mean, pricing all ties together for sure. That's why this is an interesting topic. Uh, hmm. I think that way you could test. You could probably test a at a show a little bit easier with the A/B test, kind of what I was talking about. You could probably do that at a show a little bit easier, and it would be probably a 1 day, 2 day show kind of thing. You might be able to do something like that if you really wanted to. I mean, it'd be a lot of work to reprice things, but uh,
Yeah.
or if you have like a bin of like I have the bin of spoon rests, I could price like, you put a price out there for spoon rests and see how many I sell at this show and compare it with what I sold there last year, maybe, or compare it with day one versus day two, because you know that there's going to be a certain amount of them that always sell. They kind of like sell themselves. I would say the price is less. Uh, it's probably a factor, but it's like it's an easy like, hey, this thing is useful. Like I can use this thing. So, um, hmm. I don't know. You don't know
Indeed.
what's going on the other side of the computer though. For those online buyers, you don't know what's going on.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a mystery till the end of time.
Hmm. You know there's software out there that, and maybe it's I mean small businesses aren't going to have this, but there are I think it's called I don't know the exact software, but it's like a journey, a customer journey kind of software where they actually record your actions, your screen and stuff, so they know like what you're doing when you're interacting.
Hmm.
Typically that's not like an anonymous thing. It might be, but usually it's like if you're a logged in state, if you're a inside an
So, like, if you
account,
were logged into Etsy, they would like know what you're doing.
potentially it could. Well, I mean, there's already ways to know that from. I mean, you better believe Etsy knows that stuff. Like we know this stuff as web development side of things. Like you know that when you're logged in, they know what you're clicking on. They know that you're clicking on this button and you this button goes to this place, and then from this place what do you click on next? How long are you on the page? How far down do you scroll? Are you
Yeah.
I mean they're not looking at your webcam and stuff to see what you're like. I'm sure there's technologies these days that could, like on your phone, you could imagine, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that there are apps on your phone, or there are things that could be on your phone that could look at your front facing camera, look at your eyes, see what you're looking at on the screen based on how far down and the angle of your eyes. So they know what you're looking at. And as you scroll, they know what you're looking at on the screen itself because they can record the screen. And they know how long you're looking at something, what you're reading. They can look at what you click, obviously, because you're actually like actionably like touching things.
Right.
Like, is that outside of the realm of possibility that companies would have that information about you? Like,
I've decided that they have all the information. It doesn't even fucking matter.
and uh and I can tell you from the website of things for websites and products, like they are for sure tracking all of the buttons you're clicking, um what path you're taking to do a certain action,
The
let's say
wait
you go,
times, like if you look at something longer.
yeah, if you're on the page for a long amount of time, just like if you're the simplest example is if you get to a page and there's a pop-up that shows up 15 seconds after you've been on a page and it says, "Hey, would you like to take advantage of this 10% off discount or whatever?" They're trying to get you to sign up for something because they want to make sure that you're on the page for 30 seconds or 15 seconds before they prompt you with this thing. Because they're like, "Well, we're
You
not
know
going to show this
why?
to every
The
passerby,
longer you stay,
the more you pay."
because the longer you stay, the more you pay.
So
True.
yeah, I mean, we do this in my day job. We want to know in the product what people are engaging with most so that you know that there is um, what we call it is adoption. So it's like higher probability that somebody is adopting the product. So they're paying for the thing, but are they adopting it as in are they more engaged with it and more likely to be like a repeat customer in a sense because they engage with it
Yeah.
on a frequent basis. Um, and then you'd say like, is there active use with this certain feature or product or whatever? I mean, you kind of do that a little bit with like an email list, for instance. You send it out. What's the open rate? Like, what's the percentage of people that are opening it? So that's like one factor. And then the next factor would be how many people are clicking on stuff. Like, what's the click rate? Um, so that's kind of like a funnel of, you send it out to X people, 45% open, 4% click. What's the conversion rate there? So there's all that stuff going on. And then the companies aren't doing it. They're doing it because for one reason, they're trying to make the most money possible, right? So they're trying to do it so that they know what people engage with most, so they can surface those things and keep you more engaged, have you higher likelihood of buying something or uh, finding your thing quicker. Part of the reason why like search results, you want the best quality search results possible when you're searching for something.
Yeah.
Um, So it's kind of like in the company's interest, but it's also in your interest a little bit to make you go into Etsy, you want to buy something for Mother's Day, you want to find it as quick as possible so that you might be doing it on your day job and you don't want to spend 10 minutes searching for something. If search results were shitty, like that's more of a chance you can leave the platform and find it somewhere else that's easier to find what you're looking for. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, all of that stuff is definitely happening. So, I'm sure Etsy knows these facts about the free shipping thing. Maybe they were doing it for a reason. Uh, I'm sure they have data around whether buyers are more likely to purchase items that are marked as free shipping. Like, there's probably some truth to that and why they market it that
Right.
way to say, we encourage you to do free shipping. And as an incentive to you, our sellers, to do free shipping, we're going to rate people higher in the search algorithm
Yeah, I
if
think
you
they did
use
do
this.
that.
So it's an incentive to you, but it also helps them because buyers are more likely to spend money with Etsy if they know there's free shipping because it's competitive to other markets that they could be buying on.
Yeah.
So it's like in your interest as well as their interest, but I mean, ultimately it's in their interest. They wouldn't be telling you to do it if it wasn't financially beneficial for them. So, all right. We're at 2 hours, almost at 2 hours.
We're almost at 2 hours, and I am exhausted, and I have to drive to Memphis tomorrow. So, wee.
All right. Anything else? Thanks for the question, Carrie Painter Art. We didn't look her up. Did you look her up?
Yeah. No.
I assume it's a her.
Look at us slacking.
Carrie with a
We
K.
were both lounging. That's why.
Carrie Painter. Nice.
Is it
I
with
see,
a K?
I see a cat. I see very decorative mugs. Very painterly. Do you think that's her actual last name, Painter? But she also like has very painterly pieces as well.
I don't
That's
know.
kind of funny. Hmm.
It looks like it is. Carrie
Nice.
Painter.
I feel like you have to be a painter, right?
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Carrie.
Yeah.
Good luck. Give it a try.
Lloyd's
You can always change your mind with the pricing stuff. So
for sure. For sure.
what'd
I
you say
just
about Lloyd?
updated all my Etsy stuff to be consistent.
What's consistent? What do you mean? The $5 upfront, $5 flat rate? Is that what you mean?
I just added money to the actual products.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and we
Yes,
will
thank you.
catch you next time. Becca, get some sleep.
Yes.
Safe drive tomorrow.
Have a fabulous day.
You
Happy
too.
birthday, Ryan. 5 minutes.
Thank you.
5 minutes. 32 and thriving.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Oh, sweet Jesus.